Hi, welcome to this lesson. So in this lesson, we are going to be looking at the next loop in your loops, okay, the while loop. Now, well, this is compared to the for loop that we just looked at before. This loop is nothing, okay. The next two loops are very easy. So you've finished the hard part, okay. So be very happy about that, okay. So while loop. Let's look at the while loop. It's very simple. So basically, what it says is while the condition is true, okay, execute the statements. That's all. That's all the while loop is about. And the syntax for the while loop, for the syntax, you're going to give the initialization outside. Remember how we looked at giving the initialization outside for the for loop. In your while loop, that's how you have to do it. Okay, so you have to give the initialization outside, and you can give while and just the condition, only the condition inside. And you have to open your brackets like this, your flower brackets like this, and you can give your block of code. It can be multiple statements. Okay. And finally, after all of your blocks of code have been executed, at the end you can give your increment or decrement like this, okay, and end it like that. So that's how your while loop is written, okay. So it's similar to the for loop, but the only thing is you can't give all of the three things inside of the parentheses. You have to give them separately. First, start with the initialization. You have to have the initialization. You know that. You know why. Otherwise, your loop would not get executed. Okay, so you have to start with initialization before the while loop starts, and then you can give the condition inside of the while loop. And if the condition is true, then your block of code is going to get executed. And once after the first iteration, you have to give the increment or the decrement. So it keeps going until the condition becomes false. After the condition becomes false, it's just going to come outside to the next line, and it's going to execute the next line of code like this. So that's how it happens, okay. So while loop, it's not used as often as the for loop, because the for loop is very important. It's used pretty much everywhere in programming. This is not used as much, but it's very helpful if you don't know how many times so when would you use your for loops, okay. When would you use your while loop over for loop? Because for loop, it's mostly used, okay. It's mostly used, it's preferred by all the programmers. But when would you use the while loop over the for loop? You can use the while loop if you don't know how many times you want the loop to run, okay. So if you want it to run until the condition becomes false, then you can use the while loop, okay. For the for loop, you can't do that. For the for loop, that's not how it works, right. So for the for loop, you have to give a condition, initialization, proper condition, and things like that. So to start off, you have to give all of those things. It's better if you know how many times it's going to run. But for your while loop, you can give something like, as long as this is true, just keep executing, something like that. You can if you don't know how many times it's going to run, you can give your while loop, okay. So let me give you an example so you can look at how it works. I'll just comment this out so you can take a note of it if that's what you want. Alright, so let me start with my initialization. I is equal to 1, and while I is less than or equal to 10. So as long as I is less than or equal to 10, like this, and then what you have to do is you have to open your flower brackets like this. And I'd like to do a console.log of I inside of this, just that, okay. And after that, you have to give your increment statement like this, okay. So that's how it works. So don't forget to include your increment or decrement condition within the while loop, or the loop, or you'll get an infinite loop, okay. It'll keep running endlessly and it'll crash the browser. So that's not what you want, okay. Let's look at the output of this, and let's see what we get. There you go, 1 through 10. Now I can do the opposite of this as well. I can say greater than until it's greater than or equal to 1. So keep logging it until it becomes 1, and then I can give a decrement like this as well. So what happens? So what will happen then? I can go to my live preview like this, and I can. Okay, look at that. You're getting all of your numbers like this. Okay, so that's your while loop. Okay. So your while loop and for loop both have the same structure. So for and while loops have a similar syntaxes. Okay, you can convert. So why I'm telling this is because you can convert one to the other. So there is this while loop right now, right? So you can convert this into a for loop if that's what you want. I do it like this. Let's give a for, and let's do a let j is equal to 1. Okay, j is equal to 10. I just want to convert the exact thing, and I'd have to give j's the condition next. J is greater than or equal to 1, and then j minus minus, and then I'd give console.log of j, just that. Okay, I'll do it like that, and if I refresh, now see, I'm getting 10 to 1 first and the 10 to 1 again. So the first one was for the while loop, the second one was for the for loop. So I just converted my while loop into a for loop because it has the same initialization condition and increment or decrement parts of the loop. Okay, so that's it. And also, if you do it like this, okay, if you do something like this, you'll get something that resembles your while loop. See, if I just pull everything out, okay, if I do the initialization before and if I do the increment, the decrement later on, like I told you before, that doesn't it look similar? Then doesn't it look similar to my while loop? The only difference right now uh, is that well, it has those two semicolons like this, and also because also that there's a for in here, not a while in here. So that's the only difference, but it looks similar, right? So they both can be interchanged like that. So that's it for this particular lesson. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.